My memories of first seeing Iron Man 2 are that it was awesome and spectacular, but I was young. I first saw this movie in cinemas, and in the time between then and now, I've heard the general opinion of the internet, and it doesn't exactly portray Iron Man 2 as very good. While it doesn't quite live up to the quality of the first film, Iron Man 2 is still surprisingly good. It has a decently interesting ethical undertone, which is unexpected for a movie of this kind, and most of all, Iron Man 2 is just a lot of fun. While this movie is one that I enjoyed a lot and was overall very interested in, I saw a lot of potential for Iron Man 2 to do things a lot better than the first film. The light-hearted fun and surface-level plot is the focus of the film, and overall I don't fault it for this being the case. But there was a lot of political and ethical discussion surrounding the Iron Man suit and how the advent of such technology would alter the military landscape. I can't say if these themes are intentional or simply a byproduct of the story being told, but regardless I think the film would have been much more interesting had the political undertone been focused on more than it was. Not so much that it distracted from what Iron Man 2 is intended to be, a fun superhero flick, but enough that it gave the film some meat and something to look for and think about. Something that I wasn't expecting from this movie, however, was just how fast-paced it is. I don't necessarily think this was a good or great decision, but it did make the film overall very easy to watch. This is great for watching 1 or 2 times, but I think beyond this, Iron Man 2 was going to lose some of its appeal. Looking back on the plot, I don't remember a large variety of things happening, and this is part of the reason that I would have liked a little more meat to the story. Upon later watches, it would have provided something new to look for, and it would have made the experience overall much better. Either way, the faster pace gives the movie an extra boost of energy that overall makes it a lot more fun, despite cutting a few of the action scenes short. Something that wasn't as strong as the first film was the villain and his relationship with Tony. In Iron Man 1, the villain had some relationship with Tony and had some motivations for doing what he did. While the villain of Iron Man 2 has motivations and all that kind of thing, the overall performance and context of the character was fairly weak. Mickey Rourke performs alright as Ivan, but his character was too much of a generic, vengeance-driven villain to be all that interesting. Besides this, Sam Rockwell's Justin Hammer is just the most irritating piece of shit. The best part of his character's involvement in the movie is the way Tony antagonizes him. Rockwell performs the character well, but the writing, motives, and overall mannerisms are annoying as all hell, and it makes him one of the worst parts of the film. On the flip side, the hero, Tony Stark, is probably the best part of the film. I think Robert Downey Jr.'s performance is as good as it was in Iron Man 1, but the writing gave the character overall a lot more depth. Seeing how Tony reacts to the events of the film is very revealing of his character and how he copes with stress. And what Tony deals with throughout Iron Man 2 made the story much more interesting. It added some purpose to some of Tony's actions in a way that wasn't as prevalent in the first film. One of the things that does reduce in quality after the first film is the visuals. Despite having the same director, Iron Man 2 loses a lot of the flair that was present in the first Iron Man. It's not to say that most scenes in this film aren't well shot, but there's nothing particularly unique or stylistic about the way they are shot. Having said that, there are just as many parts of this film that are well shot as there are parts that are poorly shot. The juxtaposition of the final action sequence perfectly represents my feelings of the film's visuals. While Iron Man and Rhodey fight against Ivan at Stark Expo, Natasha and Happy break into Hammertech. While the Iron Man and Rhodey sequence is the best sequence of the film visually, the break into Hammertech is the worst. The Stark Expo fight is shot well enough that I'm disappointed it ended as quickly as it did. It kept things wide and interesting, as well as great looking. On the other hand, the Hammertech sequence placed awkwardly framed shots side by side with equally awkward editing. Not to mention the scene was overall incredibly cliché, and repeated a joke that wasn't exactly funny when it was presented earlier in the film. With a lot of videos coming out about the music in Marvel movies, I feel that rather than present my own opinion on why it doesn't work as well as it should, I'll put a link in the description that most accurately aligns with how I feel about the score. Besides this, the sound design is really great. It's not something that I mentioned in my review of Iron Man 1, but I think the sound of the Iron Man suit is really well done, and a great accompaniment to great visual effects that really bring the suit to life. Overall, a fun movie that's definitely worth at least one watch if you get the time, and enjoy these movies.
Iron Man 2, 7 out of 10.